12 frugal knitting hacks using very common household items. Hi everyone, Norman here. Today we are going to pilfer, let's just call it upcycle items most of you will have in your household and give them a new knitting purpose. So you probably already know that you can use an old pitcher or a tea caddy as a yarn bowl, and corks can function as needle stoppers when you're knitting with double-pointed knitting needles. But hearken, I have 12 more such exciting and frugal knitting hacks in store for you. So let's dive right into it. Tip number 1, use your yoga mat to block your knitting. So it's already March and I'm probably not the only one who already ditched all his New Year's resolutions. Well, I plan to not shop yarn and stuff like that. Well, whatever. And even if you still regularly do yoga, nothing whatsoever speaks against using the backside of your yoga mat to block your knitting. Sweaters, shawls, things like that. And the best part is, if you go to Amazon or Temu also, you can get yoga mats for as cheap as, I don't know, 10, 15 US dollars, while proper knitting blocking boards often cost 30, 40 or 50 US dollars. And you know, these mats here are just as easy to store and they serve the exact same purpose. It's even the same material. And talking about blocking, I love these Becker rods. You can buy these thin foam cords for $1 or $2, well maybe $5 at the local hardware store, and it will make all the difference when it comes to blocking tubular objects without a fold line. Now for socks you probably do have a blocking board like this one here. But if you block a sweater like this one here, it's just perfect to prevent permanent fold lines. I received this tip from one of the women that come to the local knitting meetup here in Vienna. If you have an old basket like this one here and some old straight needles, and let's be honest, we all have some of them we should have thrown away decades ago. Well, you can turn it into a spindle. Just pop a yarn cake here on your knitting needle, and then you can unwind it at will. So as you can see, you can even add a second or a third color if your basket is big enough. You could even possibly use an old cardboard box. I'm sure this works as well. And then the best part is the yarn cake, as you unwind it, the yarn cake is rotating. So you will also unwind all the twist that is stored in the yarn cake. So it's perfect, especially for things like intarsia or color work where you need multiple yarns. I just think it's the perfect solution to organize your yarns. Do you have some old thin shoelaces at home? Yes, well, absolutely consider using them as stitch holders. So most shoelaces have this little reinforced bit here at the end. Well, typically it's plastic or maybe wax or so. And this makes it fairly easy to slip around stitches. So I don't know, maybe for big projects like a sweater where you need to put the underarm stitches on hold, you can absolutely use some old shoelaces. And the best part is, because this end bit here is slightly reinforced, slipping back these stitches after you finished or you need these stitches again is also fairly easy, because when this shoelace is rather thick, so you could of course also use scrap yarn, but if you ever use scrap yarn to put stitches on hold, you know how fiddly it can be to put these stitches back on the knitting needle. And with shoelaces, that's typically not the biggest problem. If you only need to put a couple of stitches on hold, you can also use one of these bobby pins here. So I don't know, for mittens or so, where you need to put 3, 4, 5, 6 stitches on hold for the thumb or so, you can absolutely use one of these bobby pins to put your stitches on hold, and I think it's just perfect. If you only need to put 2 or 3 stitches on hold, you can also use one of these, well, clippy stitch markers and put them on hold. And in a pinch, you could even use one of these here as a cable needle. One of my last videos was all about how I store my knitting needles. I have a lot, but if you don't have 1,000 knitting needles or more, you can definitely use one of these old pencil cases to store your knitting or double-pointed knitting needles in it. And if you want to be super smart about it, you can use one of these coiled hair bands, cut away a little length like this one here, and then just coil it around one of your double-pointed knitting needle sets, and they will stay together. Pop them into your pencil case and you are organized. And talking about hair, I already showed this before. You can use one of these old hair clips here to secure the tails on your yarn cakes and keep them from getting all tangled up. And once you've started your project, you can use the very same clip and use it to pin the tail to your project and keep it from interfering. When it comes to knitting, I can't say enough positive things about these reusable Ziploc bags. First of all, they are a great way to store yarn. This little lock here, this lock mechanism, will keep any bugs at bay. But nothing prevents you from using this as your project bag. Just pop in some knitting needles and off you go. Perfect when you're traveling, like on the plane or on the train. I typically actually use this. I've even seen some people poking holes through the plastic. I reinforced it with a little bit of tape, and then this can be perfect for your colorwork projects. It's close to Easter here in Austria, and you will find at the chocolate shops, you will find tin cans like these. And first of all, eat up all the chocolates, reward yourself for finishing a project, and then you can use these tin cans. Peppermints are often also sold in these tin cans to create your own little SOS kit. Pop in a little tape measure, some tapestry needles, maybe one of these little yarn snips here. Then bobby pins are always needed, some stitch markers, and here one of these little crochet SOS tools. Well, they're not really crochet hooks, but you can definitely use them to fix mistakes here. Lovely little charm. And then there you have it, your own little knitting SOS kit. Put it in your project bag and you will always have everything you need along. Do you floss your teeth regularly? Well, I sure hope you do. And if you have dental floss in your home, you will also have the perfect lifeline material. Simply thread a bit of dental floss here through the little keyhole at the end of your interchangeable knitting needles. And then knit across one row in pattern. Just knit across. And as you knit across, you will drag the lifeline along. See, and you add this little bit of dental floss to your knitting needle. By the way, fishing line also works great. Just tell your partner that you used it. And then later on, when you need to unravel because, I don't know, you need to fix a mistake or whatever, you can simply pull out your knitting needle and then unravel. And all your stitches here will be on hold and you can pick them up to redo that section. Oh, and while we're in the bathroom, if you have one of these electrical toothbrushes with these little rings here, color-coded rings at the end, I would definitely always save them because they can be great stitch markers. Do you have some of these empty ice cream containers at home? If not, definitely make sure to save one the next time you buy some. I think in the US, Tilenti gelato also comes in these containers because these little containers are perfect to wash your swatches. Pop in some water, some detergent, and then your swatch. Close it, shake it, stir it, and there you have it, your own little swatch washing machine. And because these containers are typically rather waterproof, you don't need to fill your whole sink. If you like doing center pulls, then you are probably familiar with the fact that the yarn cake tends to collapse towards the end. You can use an old pantyhose, put your yarn cake into it, and then just pull from the center at will. And this pantyhose will keep the integrity of the yarn cake almost towards the end, so I really feel this helps. Also, I mean, it prevents it from getting dirty on top of that, so it's a win-win. Do you have some of these binder clips at home? Well, these are great because with them you can turn literally any bowl into a yarn holder. Just you pop on that binder clip thread, the yarn through the eyelet, and there you have your yarn bowl. Could be any bowl, ashtray, whatever you have. This will turn anything into a yarn bowl. Here's one last little tip, even though it involves, or strictly speaking, it involves a knitting item. So if you have problems threading the tail or the yarn on a tapestry needle, just pop in that stitch marker and pull through. Easy as that. Anyway, those were my knitting hacks using very common household items. If you have a favorite knitting hack I didn't mention in this video, then please comment below and share it with everyone. And of course, like this video if you enjoyed watching. Happy knitting and enjoy the rest of your day.